Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. The name kind of went, but I saw it's not actually live from Joseph. By the way, guys, I love that. Like, it's not actually live comments. Like, it's very much live. Yes, 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 yes. Beautiful. And Joseph, it's live. Beautiful. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Cute. Oh, fuck. The chats. Beautiful. All right. Cool. All right. All right. All right. Anyways, going back to it, lots of yeses. As I said, you're already ahead of the curve. Now, let me ask you a question. If you buy them, why not sell them? So that way you can go from consumer to producer. Well, I know why, because you probably think, well, I don't have anything to sell. Why would anyone buy anything from me? I don't have any authority. I don't know how to sell and don't have anyone to sell to, or I don't have any expertise and don't know how to do this. I get it. Okay. I get it. Trust me. So that's why by the end of the session, you're going to understand why none of that really matters, because you can have a digital product ready to sell by the end of this week, even if you have no authority or expertise, or you've never even made a single dollar online. Now, most people haven't realized this big shift in buying behavior just yet. You see, over the last 15 years or so, we have gone through 4 big phases of buying behavior online. And if you pay attention, you're going to see that each one of these waves is built on top of the previous one by adding a new element to it that completely disrupts that model. It all started back in 2009 with ecom. We can call this wave 0, since it's really the one that slowly took place. Okay, it was commerce but online. And then around 2012 is the first big wave. Back then, most people simply depended on paid ads to get traffic to their store. That is when Amazon FBA really started to explode. Amazon completely shifted the market dynamic. You can now get buyer traffic that is pre-sold buyers. Okay, these are literally pre-sold buyers who are already looking to buy what you sell completely free by listing your products on the Amazon marketplace. That allowed thousands of regular everyday people to create an e-com store, find a product, list on Amazon for free, and sell thousands of units without having to invest a single dollar in ads. You know, that was truly one of the biggest revolutions in this space today. And that all resulted, okay, from the combination of e-commerce plus Amazon FBA. Then a few years later, something interesting happened. People figured out the biggest issue of running an e-com business on Amazon FBA was actually fulfilling their orders, because they had to buy a bunch of stock, not knowing if it was going to sell or not, while having to pay upfront to acquire such stock, which is very risky. That is when dropshipping started to get extremely popular, because it essentially allow you to ship your product directly from China without having to pay for stock upfront. This new big wave was a combination of FBA plus no stock ecom. It's as if each new wave is standing on the shoulders of giants who stand on the giants before them. Then something very interesting started to happen. You see, after that, a lot of those dropshipping stores started to scale aggressively into paid ads, especially Facebook ads. And that created another opportunity. And that is where I made my first million, and also helped tens of thousands of people to make 6 figures themselves and go from a slave of their circumstances to ungovernable individuals who had achieved their turning points. What we did was very simple. We learned how to run Facebook ads or any sort of paid traffic, and took care of the 5, 6, and 7-figure brand budgets that these dropshipping stores were pumping into paid ads. It's what we called SMMA. And again, it was a combination of dropshipping plus Facebook ads. What happened next is that a lot of those people who had SMAs realized that they could scale much further if they didn't have to manually provide a service for every single new client. We basically found a way to automate the fulfillment of our services, so that way we can now sell to 10 people or 10,000 people with the exact same effort and team size on the back end. We did that by packaging our knowledge or someone else's knowledge into a digital product. And that is where I truly made tens and tens of millions of dollars. It also fixed all of the intricate problems that you'd inevitably run into when scaling service-based businesses, increasing cost of staff, increasing complexity, and insanely complicated operations and structure, okay? And it fixed all that. Now, this was a combination of SMA plus fulfillmentless product. Up until this point, digital products has had a very high barrier to entry. This is why I could never recommend it to anyone. Like, there's no way I could recommend you to do this up until now, and I'll explain why. You see, in order to do this, you either already had to possess some sort of knowledge yourself that other people were willing to pay for, or you had to have enough money to hire someone else to package their knowledge into the form of digital product for you. And by the way, guys, this is what I've been doing for years now. I have paid out millions of dollars to other people to package their knowledge into a digital product for me. And by the way, you can go check on Digital Launchpad, which is my mobile app. We have dozens of programs all taught by different speakers. Every single one of those was a 6 or 7 figure check that I had to write in order to package their knowledge into a digital product, which meant up until this point, the barrier to entry for digital products was extremely, extremely high. It just wasn't feasible for people to do. But in the last few months, something has changed drastically. Today, a brand new gold mine has just been discovered and it is waiting to be dug. This gold mine is the 5th grand wave, digital products 2.0. An even better opportunity than Amazon FBA, even more profitable than dropshipping, even bigger than SMA, with all the perks of digital products while making it accessible to everyone. This 5th phase will likely surpass anything we've seen before because it combines two of the fastest growing markets in the world today, digital products plus AI. When you put these two things together, this is a powerhouse. This new digital product economy currently moves $684.9 million per day in sales. And it's projected to grow to $1.3 billion per day by 2028. Just on WAP, our users are earning $100 million a month with their digital products. But if you really want to profit from this opportunity, you need to be positioned before the big wave hits. And that is when lives are truly changed and millionaires are created. And the thing is, when big waves are about to hit, most people are so distracted by something else. For example, before AI boomed, people were distracted with metaverse. Facebook lost to NVIDIA because of that. Right now, most people are distracted with different AI wrappers when the real opportunity is in implementing this technology to already existing opportunities, okay? That is what has always created the big waves in this digital world. As I've just shown you, is building upon the last. Now, taking this last wave and adding a new element on top of it is what allows you to multiply its impact multiple times over. Digital products, powerful. AI, powerful. You put the two together, you are on to something transformative, something that we have never seen before, which is why I can never talk about this stuff before. That is what Amazon FBA did to ecom. That's what dropshipping did to Amazon FBA. It's what SMA did to dropshipping. And then it's what digital products did to SMA. And following the exact same logic, it's what AI will inevitably do to digital products. So now I have a question for you. If I show you how to profit in this 5th great phase, will you take action? Or are you going to keep seated on the sideline watching other people take action? Go ahead and drop an action in the chat. If you're going to take action, you're just going to be seated. I'll go ahead and check the chat. Action, action, action. Beautiful. Love to see it. All right, good. I'm glad to see that you guys are a kick-ass audience. 54,142 people live. At least that's what I'm seeing on my screen. By the way, guys, if I'm ever looking to the screen, I've got like 2 monitors here. So I'm just looking at how many absolute badasses we got live here today on this Sunday night stream. Or at least it's Sunday night for me here in Dubai. It is 9:44. All right, so 18 months from now, okay, when you see all of these same people becoming successful, I don't want you to think to yourself, oh, I wish I did this sooner, because there are already hundreds of people making fortunes with this, okay? Just like this French guy who made $71,000 this month with Pokemon cards, or this guy who made $171,000 in the last 30 days with selling a PDF, just a weekly newsletter. All of those, were results that were generated in the last 30 days with a single digital product. To give you an idea, I should say, of the scale of what's going on in this market right now, the average person on WAP right now is making $9,000 a month. And by the way, guys, it's like funny me saying this because I actually wish that number was lower. I'm being serious. I genuinely wish that number was lower because it would make it seem less scary. But all I can do is relay the facts to you. Like that's all I can do here. Okay, so that's the number. I know right now. I think we haven't published this. This is once again, obviously, as a co-owner, I know data that no one else is accessible to or has access to. We market 7,800, but it's going up every single day. Listen, this is all achieved from people on their phones or computers without even leaving their houses. And as I said, the real perk of this business is the scaling potential because you are essentially selling to the entire world. You are not limited to a city or even a country. And just for you to understand, in the last 30 days, really let this land. In the last 30 days, there was more than 571,000 transactions on WAP. That means more than 571,000 people buying a digital product on the platform. And you know what? There was less than 10,000 people selling. That is insane. That means that there is a huge gap between the demand for digital products and the people actually creating them. This market is already experiencing an exponential growth. And when this new wave of 2.0 digital products really hits, things are about to go parabolic. And you either adapt or you die. You need to embrace the shift or you're going to get left behind. And that's not me who's saying it. All the studies point in the same direction. Goldman Sachs came out with a study that points out that basically 300 million jobs will be replaced by AI by 2030. And by the way, that's not something that's only going to happen by 2030. It's happening right now. Let me prove it to you. 37% of employers today already say that they would rather have a robot or AI do the job rather than someone who's just graduated. So by the way, if you're currently in university, that might be something to seriously consider and be aware of, okay? And if you're trying to get your way up, if you're trying to work your way up and get a high paying job, the same is true there as well, by the way. The Shopify CEO, the biggest company in this new non-expert economy we're living through, has already established a policy of no new hires without proof that AI can't do the job. Listen, the bottom line here is this. You either embrace this change or you're going to get left behind. So your best bet is to get in early before the big wave comes in and take advantage of this right now. The new generation of ungovernable individuals will be created from AI, and the ones who will suffer the consequences of being slaves, and the ones who don't, I should say, will suffer the consequences of being slaves to circumstances. They're going to get replaced, they're going to get fired, and they will be the ones who fail to embrace this change. And right now, you get to choose which team you want to play for. So how do you take advantage of this? Today, there are two ways you can get into this industry. Method one, you already have expertise, or you learn a completely new skill from zero until you've mastered it to the point that you can teach other people how to do it. Obviously, listen, that takes a long time. And by the way, by the time you actually master such skill, you probably would have already missed the big wave. Then you take all this knowledge, package it up into 30 to 50 highly detailed classes about one broad topic, such as, by the way, personal development, affiliate marketing, bodybuilding, which obviously requires you to cover a broad range of topics. And the biggest flaw of this type of product is this: it relies on your expertise and established authority to sell, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Digital Products 1.0. The way we do it, we create a different type of digital product. With this second method, it is a much faster way to profit. You don't need to learn a skill or have any existing knowledge. You don't need to show your face if you don't want to, or spend a single cent on ads to get started. Instead of having to acquire hard knowledge to then turn that knowledge into a digital product, we use AI to create the product for us. Remember, AI has access to all the knowledge available on the internet and knows exactly where to look for it, okay? If you have the right AI solution, and by the way, I want to make something clear, not any AI solution, the right AI solution, because most of them, 99%, scratch that, 99.9% of them can't do this, okay? I've only ever found one in the entire world that can do it. If you have the right AI solution, it can do this for you, okay? And at the end of the day, you could go and live in the mountains for 10 years and dedicate 10 years of your life to become an expert at something. You're never going to beat AI. That's just the truth of it, okay? That's it, okay? That's much, much better, by the way. That whole scenario is much, much better than having any knowledge yourself. No matter how much of an expert you are, as I said, no matter how much of an expert you are, you're never going to be able to store as much information as AI. And that is what we're taking advantage of here. Instead of creating a digital product on very broad topics like personal development or bodybuilding, instead we focus on very specific topics that are a lot easier to find solutions for, have way more buying intent because what you're selling solves one specific issue instead of a bunch of different broad issues, have way less competition because everyone is busy on the broad topics. And most importantly, okay, and this really is most importantly, to do this, you don't need to have any previous knowledge. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to have any authority. And no one even needs to know who you are because the value of the product is not related to you. Different than regular digital products where you are buying for a specific person's expertise. Let me make that clear. Digital Products 1.0, you're buying from or you're buying because of a specific person's expertise. That is different to Digital Products 2.0. Because of what we do here is we use the right AI solution to create what I call non-expert digital products. Those are digital products that don't depend on you being an expert at anything to be valuable. Listen, in the same way 10 years ago, no one who made millions and millions of dollars drop shipping rubber ducks knew anything about rubber ducks, okay? They just found that there was demand there, and they had the product pre-made. Think about the difference between a museum tour guide and a treasure map. If you want a museum tour, you typically care deeply about the credentials of the guide. You want someone with expertise in art history who knows the stories behind each painting. And in this case, the value is directly tied to that specific person's knowledge. That is what Digital Products 1.0 used to sell. On the other hand, a treasure map's value has nothing to do with who's selling it. Listen, whether an expert guide sells it or someone who just found it randomly in their drawer, the map's value comes from what it points to, which is the treasure itself. The person handing you the map adds no inherent value to the direction it contains. That is exactly what we're doing with non-expert digital products.